Now, a new campaign by artists, actors and musicians has been launched to put pressure on the government to speed up compensation for those affected by the Windrush scandal, claiming more than 40 claimants have died before receiving any money.
Try to tell you, that's when you have to tell me, hey.
Musician Annie Lennox and actor Colin McFarlane are among the stars behind the Justice for Windrush campaign, with Lennox re-recording her song Why in support of it. I sat down with them both earlier today and asked them about the compensation problems people have been having.
There's 15,000 people who are eligible for compensation. Only 2,000 claims have been dealt with. It's incredibly slow. And so the victims are saying, please give us an independent body. We want more transparency. We want people who look like us dealing with this compensation scheme and treating us with compassion and humanity and not treating us like criminals. We've been wrongly told we're illegal. And then we're told we get a compensation scheme, but the people who committed the crime are the people judging us and giving out the compensation scheme. And you go, well, that can't be right.
Annie Lennox, what prompted you to come in on this campaign?
Well, I read the article that Colin's referring to that his father gave in a newspaper, and it really, it was very painful to read. This need for restitution, this need to bring this out into the open so that people in Britain really understand what the Windrush scandal is about. It isn't just a scandal that happened before that people are living through. It's a scandal that's happening now, because it is right now that things have not been acknowledged. And to me, it's very obvious that things have just been pushed under the carpet and they've more or less said, done and dusted, but the job's not even nearly done.
Right now, in British politics, you know, we've seen a very, very fast attempt at a resolution to the post office scandal because that captured public attention in a perhaps even an even bigger way to the way the Windrush scandal captured public attention when it broke. And just tomorrow in Parliament, we have the Rwanda immigration law coming into to Parliament again. I mean, do you think these attitudes from government have changed?
It's very evident that they haven't really. I think everything has just been simply ignored, and people hope that it'll go away with that sort of ostrich with the head in the sand, you know. We had this extraordinary Black Lives Matter movement that raised people's consciousness all around the world, and everyone was really in support of that. And then things go away. And really what we're talking about is action, not just words. So here we are, trying to ring the bell, trying to shine the light and call upon the government to say, in our letter, you really need to redress this. I would say there's something racist about this. Yeah, definitely.
Colin, I mean, the government set up a scheme. Mm-hmm. It apologised to the victims. It said there had to be redress. Mm-hmm. It's just that the scheme takes time, I guess, would be their defence.
Yeah. I was talking to Martin Ford, KC, who helped devise the scheme, and he said, one simple thing they could do, Colin, to improve the amount of people coming forward is they stopped deportations. There are still, as I speak to you today, there is a lady who's in the RAF, who's currently in the Falklands, and her mother, who's got dementia, they're trying to deport right now. That is still happening. So they put aside £500 million for this. They've only spent 75 million, and from the victims I've spoken to, most of them say the offers they get are derisory, but they keep them hanging, so eventually after 4 or 5 years they go, I've got to pay the bills, I'll take something. But it's not what they deserve. So we've got to change that. I mean,
Annie Lennox just said, there is racism here.
Yeah.
How do you think the current debate around immigration and the extraordinarily high numbers of net migrants that Britain has at the moment affects this particular debate?
We think the leaders are out of step with the public. As Annie just said, we believe that the public believe in equality and justice and fairness. They just don't know about this story.
Can I just ask you as well, I mean, how do you balance using your fame and celebrity for a cause against the inevitable criticism you will get of like, well, who's this sort of out-of-touch rock star who lives somewhere else? What does she know about our lives?
Yeah. The people have projections about me. They may not know exactly 100% who I am. I was very well known in the 80s and 90s and actually had a change that happened to me through my exposure to HIV and AIDS, which I campaigned for many years. Campaigning is really just as important to me as anything else that I've done musically. I come from a working class background and very, very grateful to have had opportunities in my life. But at the core of my soul, if you like, I feel injustice, and I feel that it is very important for me as an individual, because I've had success in many of the things I've done, to use my platform for the things that I'm passionate about. And I'm very, very passionate about racial injustice. And I personally want to contribute to that redress.
Colin McFarlane, Annie Lennox, thank you both very much.
Thank you.